Welcome back to LC Coins World, the place where every coin tells a story and every story reveals a piece of our shared history. Today we're exploring a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but holds extraordinary significance in the story of American coinage, the 1978 Lincoln penny, a coin that circulated in the hands of millions and silently witnessed the heartbeat of a nation in transition from pocket change to collector's item. This little copper coin carries more than just monetary value. It's a snapshot of America in the late 1970s. The 1978 Lincoln penny was the last of its kind to be minted entirely in copper. Before, the U.S. Mint made a historic change to a copper-plated zinc composition. In 1982, for decades, the Lincoln penny remained a cornerstone of American currency, not only because of its practical use, but because of what it represented. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent marked the first time a real person appeared on regular U.S. coinage. The decision was both cultural and symbolic. Lincoln had come to embody unity, sacrifice, and leadership in American memory, and placing his image on a coin meant putting those values into the hands of everyday citizens. By the time 1978 came around, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 70 years. Yet this particular year marked the end of an era in terms of metal content. The 1978 penny was minted with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a rich weight and a distinctive reddish hue. Over time, environmental and economic pressures, including the rising cost of copper, forced the U.S. Mint to explore more cost-effective materials, even though that change wouldn't occur until 1982. The 1978 coin stands as one of the last chapters of the traditional copper penny story. In terms of mintage, over 5 billion Lincoln pennies were produced in 1978, split between two mint locations: the Philadelphia Mint, which issued coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used the D mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 5.55 billion coins, while Denver contributed over 4.28 billion. The San Francisco Mint also issued proof versions for collectors bearing the S mint mark. These proof coins were struck using specially prepared dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharper detail. The reverse of the 1978 Lincoln penny featured the Lincoln Memorial, which had been introduced in 1959, replacing the previous wheat ears design created by Brenner. This reverse design was the work of Frank Gasparo, who was then chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. The image not only paid tribute to the president, but if observed closely, it also depicted a tiny image of the seated Lincoln statue visible between the columns, a small but historically rich artistic detail often overlooked. 1978 was a year of subtle transformation in the United States, and the Lincoln penny reflects that society was shifting economically and culturally. Inflation was creeping into the everyday American experience. The average income hovered around $10,000 a year. Gas was less than $1 a gallon, and a penny still carried meaning. People saved them, collected them, and children were taught to count with them. Yet change was on the horizon, both in coinage and in the American way of life. For collectors, the 1978 Lincoln penny holds multiple areas of interest, though not classified as rare in circulated condition. And circulated examples, and especially high-grade proof coins, continue to draw attention. Coins graded Ms. 65 or higher by PCGs or NGC often command premium values in the numismatic market, particularly those with strong strikes, red color designation, and minimal contact marks. While most 1978 pennies remain affordable, certain error coins are especially sought after, including double die obverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors tell their own stories about the minting process and are treasured by collectors for their uniqueness. The legacy of the Lincoln penny also comes into focus when we look at how the coin has been used in art, education, and memory for many Americans. Lincoln cents were their first introduction to coin collecting, handed down by parents or grandparents, sorted by date and mint mark, kept in blue Whitman folders or glass jars. The 1978 edition exists within that broader emotional and historical narrative. It reminds us of a time before the digital age when money was held and examined, not swiped or tapped. The Lincoln penny remains the longest-running coin design in American history. The obverse design has remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1909, making it a powerful symbol of national identity. The 1978 coin especially represents the bridge between the past and future. It stood at the crossroads of economic change, material innovation, and nostalgic reflection on a simpler time, when a single cent could still buy something meaningful. Today, if you find a 1978 penny in your pocket or tucked away in a jar, you're holding more than a coin. You're holding a fragment of a larger story, one that includes the rise and fall of industries, the shifting tides of presidential administrations, the evolution of art and design in American minting, and the enduring power of a president's legacy cast in copper. The value of the 1978 penny may not lie in its price, but in its purpose, in its presence in our lives then and now. As you look closer at this humble coin with Lincoln's steady gaze and the memorial behind him, remember what it stands for: history, memory, and the small, everyday moments that define us all. In this sense, the 1978 Lincoln penny is not just a relic of the past. It's a reminder that even the smallest things can carry the greatest meaning. Where we explore the timeless stories behind the coins we once carried in our pockets or found hidden in an old drawer. Today, we journey deep into the past to uncover the history, the production, and the true collectible value of one of the most widely circulated and historically rich coins in American numismatics. The 1961 Lincoln penny, a small copper coin with a big story that spans generations, economies, and American identity. Let us begin our journey by setting the stage for 1961, a year of transition, optimism, and progress in the United States. John F. Kennedy had just taken office as the 35th President of the United States, bringing with him a new spirit of hope and energy. The Cold War was heating up, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and space exploration was about to become a national priority. In this environment, the United States Mint continued its operations with precision and dedication, supplying coins to keep pace with the growing economy and public demand. The Lincoln cent, which had first been introduced in 1909, remained the most commonly used denomination. By 1961, it had already been in circulation for over 5 decades, featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. The design was introduced to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday and was the first time a real person had been featured on a regular issue. American coin, the reverse of the Lincoln penny, which from 1959 onward displayed the Lincoln Memorial, replaced the original wheat ears design of the early years. The 1961 Lincoln penny specifically refers to the 1-cent coin, struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse side. The Denver Mint was one of the primary production facilities of the United States Mint system. Located in Colorado, the Denver Mint has long been known for its high volume and high-quality coin production. In 1961, it struck over 1.7 billion Lincoln cents, making this particular coin extremely common in its time, though not without its own share of intrigue and value for collectors today. The 1961 Lincoln penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which was the standard composition for pennies from 1909 until 1962. The weight of each coin was 3.11 grams. With a diameter of 19 millimeters, the coins were struck using high-pressure minting machines that ensured consistency and detail in the relief of Lincoln's profile. And the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The inscriptions included, "In God, we trust liberty," and the date on the obverse, along with United States of America. e pluribus, unum, and 1 cent on the reverse. Now, let us delve into the historical and economic context in which this coin circulated during the early 1960s. America was undergoing technological advancement, social change, and economic expansion. The economy was strong, unemployment was relatively low, and middle class America was growing. This meant that cash was king, and physical currency, including coins like the Lincoln cent, played an essential role in daily life. The 1961 penny was used for everything from purchasing candy and newspapers to making change at gas stations, diners, and movie theaters. It passed through countless hands and told millions of stories with every exchange. But what makes the 1961 Lincoln penny special from a collector's perspective is not just its circulation numbers, but also the unique varieties, errors, and conditions that have emerged over the decades. Some 1961 pennies were struck with repunched mint marks, a common error during the era when mint marks were hand-punched into dies. Collectors often look for these varieties as they can increase a coin's value significantly, especially in higher grades. Additionally, some examples have been discovered with doubled dies or other minor striking anomalies, adding yet another layer of appeal to an already historic coin. Let us now talk about grading. The condition of a 1961 Lincoln penny can greatly affect its market value. Coins are typically graded on the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor, which is a grade of 1, to mint state 70 or Ms. 70, a perfect coin with no flaws at all. While circulated 1961 pennies are still worth only face value or slightly above uncirculated examples, especially in grades Ms. 65 and above, can command higher prices in the collector market in red condition, meaning the original copper luster is still present without much toning. Some examples have sold for more than $20 or higher, depending on demand and rarity. For many collectors, the appeal of the 1961 penny also lies in its place within the larger Lincoln cent series. It serves as a link between two eras: the classic copper composition that would soon be phased out, and the transitional years that followed in the 1960s and 1972, when economic pressures forced changes to coinage materials and production methods. By 1962, the United States Mint eliminated the tin from the penny composition, creating a copper-zinc blend that would eventually give way to the modern copper-plated zinc penny, introduced in 1982. As the video continues, we explore in greater detail the mintage figures of the 1961 penny, comparing them with other years and other mints. We analyze the impact of hoarding on coin circulation. We take a closer look at error varieties such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and lamination errors. We walk through the process of submitting coins for professional grading and how to interpret population reports from grading services such as PCGs and NGC. We also hear from veteran collectors who share their experiences of finding 1961 Lincoln pennies in change rolls in old family collections, and even in mint-sealed bags from estate sales. We dive into auction histories, looking at how some examples of the 1961 penny have performed at major auction houses across the country. We visit coin shows and speak with dealers about the current demand for early 1960s Lincoln cents and how market interest has evolved over time. In the second half of this 2-hour journey, we look at how to identify counterfeit or altered coins and what security features exist even in older coins to verify authenticity. We provide a step-by-step guide to building a complete Lincoln cent collection, including the tools and resources you will need. We also explore how the Lincoln cent has been used in American culture as a teaching tool, a symbol of thrift, and even in art projects and memorial tributes. We wrap up our exploration by reflecting on the emotional and historical value of the 1961 penny for many viewers, especially those aged 45 and older. This coin represents a time when America felt simpler, safer, and full of possibility. A coin you may have received as a child, tucked into your piggy bank, or handed over the counter with a smile. It is more than just copper. It is a memory preserved in metal, a quiet piece of the American story that lives on in collections and conversations. So whether you are a lifelong numismatist or just discovering the magic of coins for the first time, the 1961 D. Lincoln penny offers a fascinating window into our nation's past and a reminder that even the smallest pieces of change can carry the weight of history. Thank you for joining us here on LC Coins World. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we continue to bring you the stories behind the coins that shaped America, the place where history jingles in your pocket, and every coin tells a story. Today, we're traveling back to a pivotal moment in American numismatic history as we dive deep into the rich legacy and collector intrigue surrounding the 1960 D. Lincoln penny. This 1-cent coin, minted in Denver during a time of transition in American life, holds much more than its face value. It is a reflection of changing minting technologies, shifts in public demand, and the enduring symbolism of Abraham Lincoln in American culture. The 1960s marked the dawn of a new era in the United States. The country stood on the cusp of technological innovation, space exploration, and civil rights reform. As this wave of progress took hold, the U.S. Mint was grappling with its own evolution, including the modernization of coin production and the growing needs of a booming post-war population. The Lincoln cent itself had already been a staple in American currency since its first issue in 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. With a design by Victor David Brenner featuring Lincoln's bust on the obverse, this penny was the first U.S. coin to depict a real historical figure on a circulating denomination, and its legacy carried forward for decades. By 1960, the Lincoln cent had undergone many changes, but still remained a cornerstone of everyday transactions. The version minted that year at the Denver Mint bore the familiar D mint mark and featured the reverse design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday, which showed the Lincoln Memorial in fine detail, crafted by Frank Gasparo. This design offered Americans a symbolic and architectural homage to Lincoln, and was especially admired for the subtle yet artistic rendering of the seated Lincoln statue within the monument. Now, the 1960 D. Lincoln cent is perhaps best known to collectors for a unique and important distinction. It was one of the few years when two different date sizes were produced within the same year, commonly referred to as the small date and large date varieties. This was not merely a cosmetic difference, but rather a fascinating insight into the minting process, errors, revisions, and production decisions made under real-world pressures. Small date 1960 D cents are particularly prized by collectors due to their relative scarcity compared to their large date counterparts. These differences became one of the major talking points for numismatists during the early 1960s, and even sparked a miniature treasure hunt for rolls of uncirculated coins. The Denver Mint in 1960 was producing millions of coins to meet national demand, but due to die revisions during the production year, both small and large date coins made their way into circulation. This unexpected development stirred excitement in the collecting community and brought renewed interest to Lincoln cents, even among casual coin holders. As dealers began advertising for premium payments on small date coins, the public joined in the search, scouring change. Beyond the variety intrigue, the 1960 D. Lincoln penny holds additional appeal due to the broader historical and economic context of the time. America in 1960 was a society standing between the nostalgia of the 1950s and the upheaval of the 1960s. It was a year that saw the election of John F. Kennedy, the launch of the first televised presidential debates, and the accelerating race to space. Every object from that era, including a simple penny, carries the imprint of that momentum. When examining a 1960 D. penny, collectors often look for sharpness in strike color and luster, as well as potential die errors such as doubling die cracks or off-center strikes, which add to the value and uniqueness of each individual coin. Uncirculated examples with strong red color and original mint brilliance are highly desirable, particularly in the small date variant. Grading services like PCGs and NGC have authenticated and slabbed thousands of these coins with top-graded examples, reaching significant prices in auctions and private sales. In numismatic circles, the 1960D penny has become something of a benchmark for entry-level collectors while also maintaining value for more seasoned hobbyists. Its accessibility in circulated condition makes it an easy starting point, yet the existence of valuable varieties and errors offers a level of depth that keeps the hunt interesting for years. Moreover, its educational value cannot be overstated. The 1960D Lincoln Penny teaches collectors about mint practices, topography, dye variations, and market trends. It demonstrates how small differences in design can lead to significant changes in value, and how public interest can influence the way coins are perceived and collected. So whether you're holding one of these pennies in your hand out of curiosity, or because it's been passed down through generations, this humble 1-cent coin represents a bridge between eras, between routine and rarity, and between the everyday and the exceptional. It is not just a piece of copper, plated zinc, or bronze, depending on its composition, but a piece of living American history captured in metal. Stay with us as we continue to explore every angle of this remarkable coin, from its design, specifications to its minting journey and its place in today's collector market. We'll also take a closer look at the small date versus large date varieties, the reasons behind the die changes, and the lasting effect these had on Lincoln cent collecting for decades to come. So buckle in and get ready for an in-depth exploration of the 1960D Lincoln Penny here on LC Coins World, where every coin has a voice, and every voice echoes history.